Sybrina Fulton and Trayvon Martin, they overcame the worst kind of tragedy for a parent. Of course, the death of their son, 17-year-old Trayvon Martin.
It's hard to believe it's only been 5 years ago that Trayvon was killed near his father's home in Sanford. And his death has really sparked a national movement, a very positive one. Here's Local 10's Glenna Milberg.
In a different world, Trayvon Martin would be walking with this graduating class. His mom and dad accepted the honorary bachelor's diploma in his name last month, forever grieving parents who channeled heartbreak into a foundation as Trayvon's legacy.
We're just looking for a better outcome, looking at the world to view us as equal as everybody else.
February marked 5 years since that rainy night in Sanford, and then 17-year-old Trayvon's fatal encounter with the armed Community Crime Watch patrol who was suspicious of the teen he didn't know.
We're talking about eyewitnesses who saw and heard this going on.
Trayvon's shooting death initially made no headlines, no arrest, police too ready to believe George Zimmerman's claims of self-defense. It was a full month after his death that Trayvon Martin, the young man, became Trayvon Martin, the movement. And we were in Sanford to document that.
Trayvon is my son. Trayvon is your son.
Trayvon Martin became the son of some 10,000 people in that field, the son of every person who has felt injustice, a system rigged against them, and a symbol for a new fight to make it right.
You are our strength. You guys are what keep us going.
Fueled by national civil rights activists and worldwide social media, masses of students staged protest walkouts for Trayvon. The Miami Heat donned the hoodies like Trayvon was wearing the night he was shot. That likeness is now a logo.
No justice, no peace.
And the movement moved the process. Sanford's police chief stepped aside. The local state prosecutor on the case was replaced. 5 years later, his parents' foundation in his name continues to work to right injustice.
Joining us now, the mother of Trayvon Martin, Sybrina Fulton. She has started a nationwide conversation. Trayvon's parents together, they've just been doing everything they can to prevent future tragedies, and it's all about justice.
Yeah, they are committed to justice, and as you just heard too, on behalf of their son, Trayvon's parents accepted a posthumous degree from Florida Memorial University from right here in Miami Gardens.
Trayvon Martin's mother, Sybrina Fulton, is right here with us. Welcome, Sybrina. Thank you for being here. This is your alma mater. What do you think of this new place?
I love it. I mean, I wish I was a part of this new school, but I'm from the old school, so yeah.
You are homegrown, though.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. I graduated in 1984 from right here, Miami, New Orleans. I'm a Viking for life.
Wow. Vikings in the house, okay.
That's right.
I love that. I love that. Sybrina, you posted something on your Facebook page just hours ago, and it was an upside-down American flag, and it read, "One nation under God, indivisible, justice for some." Why'd you do it?
Because a lot of times when people have the flag upside down, some people view it as a sign of disrespect. But I posted it because I want people to know that this country is in duress. And it's extremely important that we cover this country in prayer. We have to make some positive changes so that our young people can become adults, so they can at least grow up. When I was little and I was young and growing up here in Miami, I didn't have a care in the world. And now our young people have to be concerned with being shot and killed. And so I don't want that to discourage them. I want them to know that they have a chance, and I want them to have hope.
Sybrina, you are out there so much with your face and your emotions. You're out there supporting other moms and parents who've lost kids. In your new book, Rest in Power, that you wrote with Trayvon's dad, you talk about the dark days, dark days that only other parents who've lost kids can relate to. Tell us about that a little bit.
One of the things is that when people saw me on television and doing interviews and at rallies and things, they saw the Sybrina, they saw Trayvon Martin's mother and Javaris's mother that was sitting up straight, that was not crying, that was not, I didn't appear as though I was broken, although I was broken. You saw the strong part of me. You didn't see the weak part of me. And that's one of the things that I talk about when I speak is my broken pieces, my darkest hour. No parent wants to receive that telephone call. And so when I did get the call, I was on the floor. I was on the floor. I wasn't the strong person that you saw on television. That wasn't me. I only did that out of the love that I had for my son because I knew that I needed to get the word out, and that if I did not get the word out, that this would be swept under the rug just like any other murder. It would be just considered like another tragic incident, and I didn't want that to happen.
And it's been 5 years, but does it still seem like yesterday?
Absolutely.
You miss it?
It feels like I'm missing something very valuable. It feels like I'm missing an arm, a leg. It feels like something is missing out of my life. I had 2 boys. I raised 2 boys, and just to go through life missing one of those boys is just continuously to feel like something is missing.
You write in the book that you couldn't even leave a dark room for weeks. What was that time in your life like?
That was my darkest hour. That was the period that you didn't see. That's before I started coming out speaking publicly. I didn't want to comb my hair. I didn't want to take a shower. I didn't want to brush my teeth. It was that bad. I was on the floor in tears because I felt like it was nothing else to live for. Like when you lose a family member, it hurts. And I've lost family members, but to lose a child is a different type of hurt. And I'm sure the moms, anybody's mother understand what I'm saying, because it's a certain connection that you have with your children, and it's a certain life expectancy that our kids are supposed to bury us. We are never supposed to bury our children.
Yes. Now you have traveled the country to promote your new book at book tours, and I'm sure other moms who have lost their children to gun violence have come up to you and talked with you. Speaking of connection, how big of a connection that you did not expect to make all across the country as you traveled and you saw so many moms who have lost their children to gun violence?
I'm a part of those moms, and those moms are a part of me. And so it doesn't strike me as being unusual. I just feel like I'm doing what anybody else's mother would have done for their child. And so I don't think I'm this super person. I'm just an average person, just an average mom who decided to stand up when my son was shot down. And so I don't feel like I'm doing something that's extraordinary. I just feel like this is the norm. Like, as women, we do what we have to do. And so I'm doing what I have to do for my son.
And now you're going to take it to the next level. You're talking about running for political office?
Oh, well, that was a question that came up, and yes, I'm considering running for office. That's one of the things that I am considering.
Do you think you can really, I mean, people say politics is a lot of gridlock. I mean, do you think you can really make a difference and you can fight this justice system that you want to change?
I can do my best. The only thing I can do is try, and I'm not afraid to try.
You know, there is one of my favorite sayings is, "You don't choose to make history; history chooses you." Do you feel like you were chosen for this particular purpose, or would you rather just go back to being Sybrina in Miami Gardens,
would
the Viking?
rather.
Yeah.
I always say that people in the military are very brave, and that they signed up to fight. They signed up to possibly lose their life. I would not have sacrificed my son. Even if it was to save one other child, I would not have sacrificed my son. And so that's in all honesty. You know, if I can take back this whole thing, I absolutely, positively would, but I can't. So what I have to do is make the best of what I'm going through. I have to make the best of my life now. I have to understand that that's a chapter in my life that happened. If you wrote about Sybrina Fulton, there would be a chapter in there that says that I lost my son.
Yes.
Now, what I'm doing now is showing people what I did after that chapter. My next chapter, what did I do?
That's right. That's right. Sybrina Fulton, thank you. You might be the strongest Viking in the family, and I think they all would agree with me.
Right.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sybrina. We really appreciate you. We really appreciate it. And your husband, your ex-husband Tracy, we wanted to come here.
You forgot to ask about my orange.
Yeah, he's not. Oh, yeah, that's right. For National Gun
Violence Awareness. The
Day.
orange is for National Gun Violence Awareness.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you
So
very
we love
much.
it. And we'll be wearing a lot of orange this week, and in honor of you. Thank you for being here, Sybrina. We do want all of you at home to join this conversation. We don't want it one-sided. We want you to be a part of that. So do join the discussion with the hashtag MFMC for My Future, My Choice. Let us know your comments and questions, and know that we are listening.